Isiah Factor Uncensored starts now. And welcome to The Factor Uncensored. Thank you for joining us tonight. We have a great show planned for you. Now, you've seen it time and time again on social media. Local law enforcement agencies and around the country posting pictures, arrest photos of individuals who are caught out trying to buy sex. Prostitution stings. Well, what we've noticed in many of those posts, individuals in the public who've said, is this worth our time? Why are you posting this? Why are you going after these men? Are there bigger fish to fry in the community? So we brought in some experts to talk about this. Individuals who say, maybe we should move away from the Johns and look at bigger problems in the community. We have with us Kathy Griffin-Grignon from Precinct 1 Constable's Office and a human trafficking expert and former prosecutor and now criminal defense attorney, Isiah Kingbala. So, Kathy, I was reading a post, and it was several men who were arrested for accused of trying to buy sex from ladies of the evening. Well, when you look at the comments, many of the people are saying, so why are we going after this low-hanging fruit, going after these men, arresting them, and then publicly shaming them? Your thoughts about what some people in the public are saying?
First of all, it is a crime.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, the root of prostitution, cheating, because it is a known fact that most men who solicit prostitution are married, and a lot of them are middle-aged. Now, that was back in the Ice Age when I was a prostitute. But now, even these youngsters, and then you've got fathers who bring their sons to prostitutes so they will have their first sexual encounter.
So it's generational now.
It's been generational. Secrets keeping the world sick. And sick people making other people sick.
Uh-huh.
And Houston is on fire right now with STIs.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what is an STI? They said, sexually transmitted infection. I said, well, what happened to STDs? They said, well, disease sounds like you can't get rid of it. You just infected.
And so those STIs are then taken home to families, to wives, and it has tentacles.
So then you got domestic violence. You've got even the women are angry because they felt like their husband was cheating. So then, well, I'm going to show him I can cheat. Then you come up with a whole domestic violence thing. Then you've got physical abuse, mental abuse, financial abuse, domestic servitude now. You're not allowed to do this, that, this, that, this, that. All of it stems from a criminal aspect. And then you've got individuals who might have had a parent who was in the sex industry. So all of a sudden, I hate all prostitutes. I'm going to go and kill them because a pimp or a trafficker killed my mother. So I'm going to kill all the rest of them. Or somebody infected them, and so I'm going to go out there and reinfect everybody. Because if somebody gave it to me, I'm going to give it to... It's so many tentacles to this, which stems back to a horrific crime spree. So, individuals who want to hear something else, those individuals, they have the right to feel like they feel, but I'm feeling that they just like to watch reality TV with people snatching hair weave off and stuff and don't want to deal with real facts.
Isiah, let's bring you into this conversation. For those individuals who say, look, we have seen so many of these mug shots where individuals are arrested by local law enforcement agencies with stings because they're out trying to buy women, buy sex, and it's not worth our time. What will you say to those individuals?
I agree. I think it's a waste of time, and I think it's dangerous to plaster people's faces on social media like that. First of all, these are arrests. They're not convictions. And I am a firm believer of due process. Before you plaster someone's name on the public and say, this person is a John, he's a trick, how about you give him the opportunity to face his case in the court of law and prove it? Prove it beyond a reasonable doubt before you put that scarlet letter on them. That's the first issue.
And where are the rights for those individuals to a fair trial to be proven guilty? So the moment you're taken into custody, there's no taking that back. And even if you're found not guilty, there's no taking that back.
And that's the problem. Those rights are just completely ignored, and essentially you're tainting the jury pool, because Harris County potential jurors are the ones who are watching these posts online. That's the first issue. Secondly, I have to disagree with you on a few issues.
Griffin-Grignon.
Miss Griffin, I'm sorry. I'm horrible with names, better with faces. But that being said, I feel like a lot of what you're saying is anecdotal. Where are the stats? Essentially, what we're doing is you cannot legislate morality. No matter how much we go after Johns, there's going to be prostitution, right? Prostitution is one of the oldest professions in the world. It's even in the Bible we see examples of prostitution. So to think that going after low-level Johns is somehow going to get at the heart of the issue, I think is very short-sighted. If we want to keep it real, first and foremost, instead of attacking the buyer, I think it's more important that we go after the sellers. And I'm not talking about the women. I'm talking about the pimps, the traffickers. I think there needs to be a more onus there. So when you have police officers putting pictures of Johns, right, it seems to be very self-congratulatory, ignoring some of the deeper-rooted issues. For every 15 Johns that they post on their website, there's probably hundreds of Johns that go unnoticed. So we're not getting at the root of the issue. Secondly, another issue just to think about is, what are the root causes of prostitution? Like I said, no matter how many Johns you go after, it's going to continue to happen. But are we attacking the lack of education in our cities? Are we attacking the poor economy that puts women in desperate situations? And men. And men, yes. So we're not addressing the root cause. We're pretty much just painting the window, dressing the window with curtains, but not actually fixing the broken windows of our society.
Do I get your rebuttal?
Oh, yeah. Wait, we got to take a break first. You can't wait, can you? You can't wait. We'll be back with more Factor Uncensored as we continue this conversation after the break. Stay with us here on The Factor. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We're talking about those mugshots that make it to social media when individuals are arrested in stings for prostitution, where men are accused of going out trying to buy sex. Many people are now posting online or leaving comments on local law enforcement agencies' sites saying, why are we doing this? This is low-hanging fruit. This is not really addressing the problem. Joining us here on The Factor Uncensored, we have human trafficking advocate Catherine Griffin-Grignon, along with former criminal and defense attorney Bayojia Kingbla, who once worked for the Harris County as a prosecutor. So, Kathy, you wanted to get back and make a point here.
So, attorney, I'm not going to mess your name up out of respect, but you said you disagree with me. I never said that I agreed that posting Johns was a good thing. I said prostitution and solicitation for sex is against the law. That's what I said. Now, posting Johns, like you say, I have to agree, you're only getting circumstantial, non-convicted individuals that you're throwing out there, because there are two types of prostitution. Do y'all know that?
Educate us.
Legal prostitution means when you marry somebody and the wife cut it off. You know what I'm saying? Then you ain't gonna get the credit card. The other one is when you out there.
I think my wife would disagree on that one.
Whatever. Unless she running some things. Now, some women is pimping y'all. But anyway, on the second hand, I want to make a clear up something. Ain't no such thing as buying sex. You renting it. They can't take it home with them. That's always been a misquote.
Got it.
From whatever. And then it causes other criminal activity. Now your husband or your man or your woman is posted on social media being accused of trying to solicit sex industry workers for sex. Now they gonna go home and she gonna shoot you, or she gonna beat you, or she gonna give you the hot grits pot, skid it over the head, which is gonna cause other criminal activities. But what should be done when a man or female is arrested for prostitution, solicitation, they need to go to class. You know what I'm saying? Because if that officer has arrested you and you were talking to what you thought was a prostitute and it was an undercover, okay, what you doing out there for real? Maybe you got a problem. Let's fix it. Because everybody falls short.
And really quick, by OG, you have been a prosecutor. Are there classes out there? Is there counseling for men who may have been out there trying to buy sex?
Oftentimes, especially for first-time offenders, prosecutors do provide the opportunity for first-time offenders to undergo some form of class and education to keep them from reoffending. So that is a thing. But that kind of speaks to this issue of why are we criminalizing this offense in the first place? And I'm just posing a question here. It is immorally reprehensible. I get that. But I think the more we criminalize prostitution, the more it forces the pimps to go underground, which makes it harder to recognize true victims of human trafficking. So I think we should consider maybe other options to where we can actually have this visible, it's seen, so we can recognize whether or not someone is actually a victim of human trafficking, whether or not people are underage, have some regulations on it so that we're not driving these victims of human trafficking into the darkness where people cannot identify them and give them the help and the resources that they need.
Now, you said, why are we treating it about criminalizing prostitution? Well, now we're seeing a trend where females are not so much criminalized because they're the victims of human trafficking. Do you think that is headed in the right direction, or, like some say, that's giving the women a pass in this situation? So,
like before coming here, I've had Johns come to me, and it's so funny. When they started coming, they were talking in class as if they were in AA. Hi, my name is Charlie, and I'm here to be a rehabilitated trick. And I'm like, you don't have to say that. This is not AANACA. But sitting there listening to how incest was present, or sexual molestation, or most of the girls and the guys and the transgenders that are out there having to try to make a living, and then you can't, it's hard to be out there on the block or the blade being a renegade, because the ones that are governed by traffickers and pimps are getting attacked and are drugged or abused, and it all is just like a pair of fishnets. It's just intertwining, and there's so much criminal activity. I got called yesterday for a 17-year-old.
Kathy, we're going to take a quick break here. We'll come back and let you finish here on The Factor Uncensored. Stay with us. We'll continue this conversation in just a moment.
Extraordinary. This program is being brought to you by Jim Adler, the Texas Hammer.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We're talking to our experts here tonight when it comes to solicitation of prostitution, individuals who have been arrested by law enforcement agencies and their photos posted on social media. Now, some are saying that's low-hanging fruit. Why are we going after those individuals? One of the questions I had, Kathy, and I'll let you finish, was, are some women now getting a pass when it comes to prostitution? Because we've heard that women have been told, some of them, like, all you have to do is say, I'm a human trafficking victim, and you won't be prosecuted.
So now the cases when women and men are picked up for solicitation of prostitution in the spas and the massage parlors and the strip clubs and out on the blade or the block or the stroll, they have an option in most of the criminal courts now to come to my class every Wednesday at Harris County Constable Precinct 1's second floor courtroom, 1 o'clock, and they do 6 classes, and if they successfully complete those 6 classes, they will have that case dismissed. Mm-hmm. And
so I ask again, are they getting a pass?
What I'm finding is a lot of them that just thought they were signing up for a get out of jail free class, what I'm finding, most of them, after they have gotten their completion letter, they keep coming back because it's a process to get out of the life. It's a process to break an addiction that you don't even know that you have. It is a process to be addicted to the lifestyle, to be addicted to the drama. And some people are addicted to their own trauma. So when they think that they're getting a pass, the ones that really don't want to do it, but they feel like, oh my God, this is all I have, I need some fast money, and they come, what I'm seeing now that is building every week, they're continuing to come back.
All right. And really quick, because we're running out of time, Bioja, your thoughts about some in the public saying women are getting a pass when they are arrested, all they have to do, some of them, is say, I'm a victim of human trafficking.
Yeah, I mean, if women are getting classes and getting the opportunity to have these cases dismissed, it then begs the question, why not the men? Because, again, when you look at prostitution in our society, it is a byproduct of a broken, fallen, godless society. And so we're dealing with matters of the heart. And if we're going to address the heart issues of women, we should also target addressing the heart issues of men. So this speaks to a broader conversation of whether or not, with addressing most crimes, should we be looking at punishment or should we be looking at rehabilitation? And I'm always of the opinion that we should emphasize rehabilitation over punishment.
All right, 30 seconds, Catherine. Wrap us up. 30 seconds only.
I totally believe in rehabilitation to rank, to restore, to privileges. You get ranks back like daughter, mother, son, grandmother, grandfather, friend. So rehabilitation works if you work it. So do you need rehabilitation? Come see me.
All right, got it.
Do you want rehabilitation?
That's the question.
That's the answer.
I haven't heard godless on my show in a while. We got you, Bioji. All right, thank you guys for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored, and we'll be back with more Factor. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Well, the question is, are you a grown-ass man and you need some direction in life, someone to guide you? Well, we may have the perfect solution that could be right on your phone, right on your laptop, on your desktop computer. We have the man himself who made a trip from Dallas to Houston, Greg Dupree, former law enforcement officer and regular on The Factor Uncensored. So you've been busy in the lab creating something, a new app, a new website, and it's called Man Hustle.
Right.
And it's not for chumps.
No.
So tell us what Man Hustle is exactly, Greg.
Well, let me say this about it first. It's not for chumps. It's not for simps. It's not for suckers. It's for men who want to move better. Okay, the actual name of the app is Hustle. The website is manhustle.com because somebody already had hustle.com.
Got it. And so website manhustle.com.
But the actual app is Hustle.
Okay.
And manhustle.com takes you wherever you need to go and gets you there. So Hustle stands for he understands strategy, timing, logic, and execution. And basically, it gives men the opportunity, out in the dating world where there's so much toxicity going on both sides, to make better decisions and better choices and move better in their dating selections. It helps also to understand that maybe sometimes we're the problem. And as I playfully say sometimes that it calls men on their BS.
Wow. And so how does it work? Is there AI, artificial intelligence involved, programs specifically to deal with male issues?
Well, it's an AI-powered platform that is a relationship awareness decision-based app. It helps men to make better choices and better decisions. What you do is it has 6 different tools that you can use, varying depending on the situation that you're involved in, that you can either drop text messages, text conversations between yourself and whoever you're trying constantly date or trying to hook up with at the time, and it analyzes that information, can analyze the person's profile, can analyze their DMs, all the type of communications that you have with this individual to give you an accurate picture of this individual and the probabilities and outcomes of you connecting with this person.
Now, that's good, but it's also scary. Damn.
It's only scary to the people that don't understand it. We've built in guardrails, not only to protect the user, but protect the person that they're currently dating or involved in or potentially getting involved with.
So that information won't go anywhere, won't get into the bigger pool out there.
And if you check our privacy policy on the site, it tells you we do not share information, we do not betray people's privacy. It's not like sharing information with a friend or a relative and you have to worry about them going and telling somebody else.
Because they will tell. They will tell.
Yeah, so we make sure that the people that use our app are well protected.
And give me a situation that you could program or tell the app or the website what's going on and what kind of answer will they likely give you after analyzing the situation. What's a situation that most men may go through that they don't think, well, this could help me with?
Well, you take, for example, you meet a young lady and you're texting constantly for a while and then all of a sudden things change. And you're wondering if she ghosted you or, or she just doesn't want to have any communication with you at all. And now you're stressing about it, and which is what men do, and women do too as well. And what ends up happening is you enter the conversation that you were having with the woman up to the point that it ended. And then you ask, and the app will ask you, are there any type of behavioral changes that you noticed, or, what was the behavior like before that happened? And then it'll give you an accurate picture of what's going on in that situation. And it generally gives you a selection of answers to whether you should continue the relationship. It'll tell you if you're over-investing in this, you're being too emotional about it, or it just tells you move on. So it gives you, and then you make the decision.
And what's different from Man Hustle and Hustle than what we can get on ChatGPT or Gemini or Meta?
Well, the difference is those platforms are not trained. They're not culturally aware. And they're not culturally relevant.
Culturally aware.
You have to be. We trained this app, and what we did, we trained it so it knows how to recognize what's going on in the dating world. We put scenarios in there. We put the Megan Thee Stallion, Klay Thompson breakup in there to test it, to see what type of advice it would give to the man, not only to the man but to the woman, because you got to remember, Isaiah, we're balanced here. We have an app for the woman called Rain as well, so they have that app as well for them. And we put the Klay Thompson side in the Hustle app, and we put Megan's side in the Rain app, and it gave us what went wrong in their relationship. And basically she overinvested. She says she overinvested. She recognized the signs, warning signs, long before this happened, but she continued to ignore them and continue the relationship. He did not protect his position with her because either he was unconcerned about it or he wasn't disciplined enough to stick with it in the relationship.
Wow. That's sharp.
Right.
That's sharp for AI. And for those who are wondering again, give us the location and where we can find Hustle, manhustle.com. Obviously, that's clear. Hustle, you can find that on any app store, I would assume?
No, this is strictly web-based. We haven't gone into the app store for the reason. We're going to do that later on because this is part of a larger picture that we're building. We're building a community. We're not just building apps for the sake of building apps. It's going to expand into something much larger.
So start at manhustle.com.
You start at manhustle.com. If you're a man and if you're a woman, you want to take a look at it, you subscribe as well. For the women, it's REIGN, REIGN, and the website is reignyourworld.com.
All right, and I'm sure those are on the screen, right, Sonora? You just put it on the screen for us there. All right, Greg Dupree, glad to see you in Houston.
You too,
finally, you're always zooming with me from Dallas.
I know.
And congratulations on the new project.
Thank you,
much success.
Thank you,
sir.
buddy. I appreciate it. Thanks,
Absolutely. Check out that website, manhustle.com, and REIGN as well. We'll be back with more Factor Uncensored in just a moment.
All right.
You're watching the Isiah Factor Uncensored.
And welcome back to the second half hour. The Factor Uncensored is a story the country is talking about that began right here in Houston. Former Houston police officer Ashley Gonzalez terminated after being caught on social media, a racial rant. Take a look at this.
Came over me, I grabbed by the neck, and I was like, come here, you. And oh my God, like I felt like the world just stopped. Like it was just peace. Like I don't know. And then he was just like even I in my head I was like, damn, te pasaste, because I called him a dog. Like imagine how many.
And joining us now to talk about Ashley Gonzalez and her decision to file an appeal and what the process is, we have Ray Hunt, who's the executive director of the Houston Police Officers Union. Ray, glad to have you here. A lot of people are concerned that Ashley Gonzalez has filed an appeal. But from your perspective as a member of the union, executive director, this is nothing unusual, right?
Not at all. All police officers, firefighters, and any person who has civil service protection is allowed to appeal any type of discipline they get. And for police officers, we can appeal anything from a written reprimand all the way up to termination. And it's not uncommon at all for persons to appeal whenever they get disciplined if they feel that the discipline's not appropriate for the action.
For the public that may be on the outside looking in and saying, look, this case is egregious. And how could she possibly think she would get a second chance at the Houston Police Department when even the mayor is trying to get her state license pulled? What do you say to those individuals who say this is too egregious to even think about a second chance?
Yeah, as you know, the statement that we put out as soon as this happened said that if this is authentic, that it is embarrassing and shocking, and we expect for the department to make quick action, which they did. But just like it would be for a criminal case, that someone does something so terrible, every person has a right to due process, and that's the rights that the state has given persons to have due process. She's not being paid now. She has been terminated from the department, but she has a right to appeal that to an independent arbitrator. The arbitrators are professors or lawyers from around the state that come in here. They hear both sides of it. They hear her lawyer will present their facts, the city will present their facts, and the arbitrator will then make a determination if they feel that the punishment fits the allegation. And if that's the case, it'll be sustained, and she won't have a job if that's the case.
You've seen the ins and outs of this case. What do you think her chances are of being reinstated to the Houston Police Department or the arbitrator ruling in her favor?
Well, the fact that we've been doing arbitrations for many, many years and nothing's gained the attention that this one has tells you that it's I think it's clear to your viewers and to everyone else what a reasonable person would believe is appropriate, what's not appropriate, and our arbitrators are reasonable people.
Now, Ray, when you take a look at this case, and you've been with the department for quite some time, an experienced veteran of the force, have you seen anything similar to this that, may have blown you away when it comes to just the way someone may think, how they behave? And do you think social media played a role in the evolution of what we're seeing in bad behavior in some small amount of police officers that are out there?
Yeah, you got 5,300 officers. There's going to be officers who are going to do things that are inappropriate, going to do things that are going to shock the conscience, going to do things that are going to get them fired. And as I say, it's very rare for a chief to make this kind of a quick action, which if you remember how quickly she was terminated, it wasn't because of any outcry from the community or anything else. It was because the chief viewed it and believed that it was serious and called for a loudermill, which is a hearing with the chief. It's 48-hour notice to appear in front of the chief, and she did that, and the chief fired her. Now she has an opportunity to appeal it if she chooses to. Most people who do very egregious activities or actions rarely appeal it, but she believes that she has a right to appeal it, and she does. She does have a legal right to appeal it, and she would like for an independent arbitrator to hear the facts and make a determination as to whether or not they believe that the chief took appropriate action.
And that opens the question, Ray. She believes she deserves a second chance in this case. Have you guys had a chance to talk to her, meet her? I mean, what is her mindset if you're able to say that?
I have spoken to her, and that's all I'll say.
Were you surprised that?
I have spoken to her. I have spoken to her, and I believe that she has her right to speak with her attorney and make a decision as to what she's going to do with her career or how she's going to proceed with this. It's completely up to her. Dues-paying members of this organization get legal representation only for administrative actions in the course and scope of your job, and criminal actions if it happens in the course and scope of your job that was inside of the training that you received. If it's outside, you don't get that. There's no criminal action here, but there's definitely an administrative action, and the administrative action was that the chief of police made a determination that based on the lack of sound judgment that he terminated her for this offense, and now she will have an opportunity to defend herself and present her case to a third-party arbitrator whose decision will be final.
How soon do we think this process will begin, the appeals process, where she will
She has to appeal within 15 days of the punishment coming down. This appeal took place back in April. That's why I was very surprised when the media started calling yesterday regarding this, and I didn't know why. But apparently, they just found out yesterday that she had appealed. I believe the arbitration is scheduled for July.
July of this year. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
They're relatively quickly, and I believe hers is this July.
And we'll be back with more Factor Uncensored in just a moment. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We asked Ray Hunt to stick around for another segment here on The Factor Uncensored. He's the executive director of the Houston Police Officers Union. And now we're addressing the issue of National Police Week, recognizing the men and women of law enforcement around this country. Let's get to it. And Ray, it is Police Week here in this country, the month of May. For those who don't realize how we're supposed to celebrate National Police Week, how would you do that?
Well, what we do here at the Houston Police Officers Union is we honor each of the 123 officers who've given their lives in the line of duty from Houston. We honor them last Friday at a memorial service where we did 123 officers stood at attention or call a roll call for each one of those officers, and when their end of watch were recognized. We had over 200 people here, and it was over at the Fondy Rec Center. It's normally at our police memorial out on Memorial, but because of weather, we moved it to the Fondy Rec Center. We had about 200 survivors of these 123 officers that came here, and they do that every year. It's very difficult for them to come here, but they also want to know that their loved one is gone but not forgotten, and we never forget our officers who paid the ultimate sacrifice by giving their life in the line of duty.
And Ray, for those who are in the community and they want to pay their respects and do whatever they can to recognize police and the job you guys do, what would you suggest to them? Are there opportunities to volunteer, to donate, to give, whatever, possibly with the union? What would be your suggestion on that?
So we don't solicit funds from the HPOU. We do take donations if persons want to give to assist the officer. That gives to the officers who are injured. We also recommend the 100 Club, which deals with the officers who are killed in the line of duty. So the 100 Club does an amazing job when an officer is killed in the line of duty and doing a needs assessment for that family. And they did it for this last officer that we had too, Officer Roberts, who was killed while he was escorting a large truck. I think we had 39 of his relatives showed up for our memorial service. So this is a big deal for them. Right now in Washington, D.C., we're having the police week, and our police chief and a lot of our officers, several of our board members are there. We go there every single year. We go to the wall where those names are going to be etched into the wall for the persons who were killed this past year. And it's a very moving ceremony. If you've never been to the police memorial in Washington, D.C., if you're ever there, I would encourage you to go by there. It's a very somber occasion, but it's a beautiful tribute to our officers across the country who've given their lives in the line of duty.
And Ray, it's always been an ongoing situation between some of the public and law enforcement. Do you see the relationship improving now in 2026? If not, what do we need to do?
You know, I think that we've definitely had an improvement in the relationship since the defund movement. That defund has pretty much stopped being heard anywhere. There's no more of that going on. Our officers
and really quick, for those who are not familiar with defund, explain that really quick.
Yeah, there were some on the far left, and I mean it was the far left, who were asking to defund the police departments. Some of them even said to get rid of the police departments. But the reasonable people in our community and across the state, the 95% of reasonable people of all races support the police officers, and we know that. And our officers feel that when they're out there on the streets and they have the person give them a thumbs up or walk by and say thank you for your service, or pay for their meal or buy them a cup of coffee. Those kind of things really do resonate with our officers and make them know that we know that the majority of the people out there, the overwhelming majority, support our police officers and want the police officers in their community.
All right, Ray Hunt with the Houston Police Union. We appreciate your time. And of course, if you want to celebrate Police Week or pay tribute to officers in your community, the opportunity is there. Ray, thank you so much for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. We appreciate your time.
Isiah, I want to thank you for always being fair to the police. You are always fair to us, and we greatly appreciate you. And 26.
And we'll be back with more Factor Uncensored in just a moment.
Kroger.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. It was a major problem in the city of Houston last year in the 3rd Ward Riverside Terrace area. People complaining about long lines of cars, partying, loud music in their community. They can't get any rest on the weekends till 3, 4 in the morning. Now residents say that problem has returned with a vengeance. Let's get to it. Scott, just how bad has it become here in the 3rd Ward, Riverside Terrace? I remember the mayor and the police department making promises last year saying, look, we won't allow this. There are people who live in this area, and you're saying the problem's never stopped?
Exactly. The cars that come to these clubs and stuff, they're still coming. They still cruise up and down Emancipation. They still stop at the Sun & Co. before the clubs and after the clubs. And they play music so loud it shakes the windows on your houses. They'll set off car alarms, and it's just nonstop. If HPD's not sitting at the store here, there's somebody else, there's a car that's there that's partying in the parking lot and keeping everybody in the neighborhood awake. Or they're driving up and down Emancipation doing the same thing. It's insane.
And have you guys reached out to HPD? Have you reached out to city leaders to complain about this?
We have extensively, and it has gotten better. They have put more officers on duty, but they just can't seem to stop the motorists that are making all the noise. They may help with some of the bars, keeping their levels down, but then the traffic up and down through the neighborhood is just, it's insane, especially Sunday nights. And it starts really like 4 in the afternoon on Sundays and runs till 2 in the morning on Monday morning.
So you just heard from Scott, one of the residents in Riverside Terrace, complaining about emancipation. Now we are talking to City Council member Dr. Carolyn Evans-Shabazz, who represents that area. Dr. Shabazz, what would you tell your constituents if they're having problems again this year? I remember we dealt with this last year, and there were a lot of police out there. They made their presence known. So what can be done now?
I mean, it's an ongoing issue. Certainly people are coming from everywhere. This is the district of destination. And so they're coming and they're partying. And I don't think most of them live in the area, but it is a problem. And certainly Scott has really had a tough time because he lives right behind a gas station, which is right there on Southmore and Emancipation. So we are coordinating with the OST Alameda TERS and the Greater Southeast Management District to identify approximately $300,000 in additional public safety funding to support overtime for HPD and Harris County Precinct 7. It's going to take that in the peak nightlife hours along Emancipation, Alameda, OST, and the Dixie Corridor. And so the goal is to build on the success of Mayor Whitmire's club task. There is a club task that does address some of these issues, but we're going to have to put some money into public safety to support both, as I said, Precinct 7 and HPD so that they can come out during those peak hours. And I think that that's going to make a difference.
All right, Dr. Carolyn Evans-Shabazz, Houston City Council member, we appreciate your time on The Factor and addressing the concerns of your constituents like you always do here on The Factor. We'll be back with more Factor Uncensored in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Well, there is a job market that's really wide open out there for young people, and it's in the area of phlebotomy. And we're talking about some good salaries, anywhere from $30,000 up to $50,000 as a professional in that industry. And we have some people here on The Factor Uncensored to talk about it for the young people in your family. We have with us Reggie Rusk and also Stephanie Jackson. Glad to have you here on The Factor Uncensored. So for those who are not quite familiar with what phlebotomy is or phlebotomist, tell us about that, Stephanie.
Yeah, so the phlebotomists are the people behind the scenes, but I guess not in blood banking. They're right there. They're the ones that are drawing your blood. Yeah, the phlebotomists are the ones that they're there to make you feel comfortable. You know, I know that people get nervous around needles, and so we're just really grateful that we have some awesome trained professionals that help you relax and stay at ease. It's only, once you're in the chair, if you're donating whole blood, it's only about 10 minutes. But, you know, they're there to make sure that you're feeling well, that you're hydrated, and they run the screening beforehand to make sure that you're healthy and ready to donate blood.
And is it a job where you feel intense pressure or you feel freedom doing it if you're not afraid of needles or seeing blood?
I think there's a lot of there's a balance, but I think there's a lot of freedom as well because you're there. I think this is a good opportunity for people who like something new every day. You get to talk to different people from different walks of life, and no two people are exactly the same. So you might have someone who has a huge vein that's very easy to find, and then you might have someone with a thinner vein that's a little deeper and a little harder to find. But we have a lot of really great professionally trained phlebotomists that have, you know, over 10,000 sticks underneath their belt. So they're highly qualified, highly trained, and they know what they're doing.
And Reggie, the focus is to get young people into this industry. How are you guys doing that?
Yeah, so we've partnered with my organization, partnered with Gulf Coast Blood. We felt like we wanted to create opportunities for individuals in our community, and it's a entry point into the healthcare field. And so this was a great opportunity for us to get in the community, and not to mention how important it is for our communities to learn about giving blood. I'm dealing with something personal myself. My mom is getting blood transfusions after having cancer, and so now it's more of a personal issue more so than just, you know, a community issue. But definitely want to bring more awareness to what they bring to the table, and creating these jobs is very important as well.
Absolutely. For those who are interested in the recruitment effort, and this is to either of you, what do you need to come to the table with as far as a person who wants to be trained as a phlebotomist? Are we talking about high school graduate? Are we talking about college graduate? What?
18 with a high school degree, and if you meet those qualifications and you have a clean background, we do a background check, then you can come into the Gulf Coast Blood Academy if you're a good fit. The good thing is that it's only 7 weeks. You're going to get some hands-on training there. So after the 7 weeks, we'll be able to offer them a position and get them a job in the healthcare industry.
And for those who are interested, where should they go to get more information or to sign up for this program?
They can go to giveblood.org and look up Gulf Coast Blood Academy, or send us an email, gcbacademy@giveblood.org.
And that'll do it for us here on The Factor Uncensored. Remember to follow us on YouTube at Isiah Factor Uncensored. And, of course, you can catch us on social media, Instagram, X, and, of course, Facebook. And don't forget to download the Fox Soul app. That'll do it for us. Have a great night.
Welcome to the Nightcap. It's your girl, Carolina Sanchez. And baby, tonight we're taking you all around Houston. We're actually checking out new spots. So it's a new spot hop. And we're starting things off at Johnny Rita's. Let's take a look.
Yeah, what's up for a nightcap? Chill, you know, kick back.
And here I am with the owner, Chico Ramirez.
Hello.
Baby, I love the space.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
I love the windows. It's nice and open, but the vibe is like, you know, I'm gonna have some good drinks and good food.
Well, then that was the whole point. So I'm a very lucky man. My wife is a beautiful designer. She came up with the direction and, you know, the entire atmosphere for in here. We wanted to keep it light. We didn't want to do something ultra traditional that people weren't going to have a good time inside of.
All right, and we're gonna have a good time here.
Yes, we are.
All right, you're new. So what is the vibe you're trying to put out? What are the foods like?
The food's like what the vibe we're trying to put out. We don't want to be caught as some old, just kind of slow-paced restaurant. We wanted everyone to come in and enjoy everything from the handcrafted cocktails to the food itself. The food is really three-dimensional.
Oh.